Kia ora, and welcome to Friday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with markets investors are looking sceptically at, restarted US data, and the outstanding Nvidia result. First, the American initial jobless claims reporting has restarted, and they say 216,000 new people filed for these benefits last week, up from 214,000 the same week a year ago. There are now 1.7 million people on these benefits, up from 1.6 million a year ago, and the highest since 2021. And for the record, they released their September non-farm payrolls report overnight too, claiming 119,000 new jobs created in the month. The non-seasonally adjusted data records a rise from the same month a year earlier of 1.2 million, the least year-on-year rise since the pandemic. The related wage growth data was weak. And they also announced they will not be releasing an October report. Meanwhile, the Philly Fed factory survey for October weakened again, including for new orders. Inflation pressures were reported as higher. Despite this extended depressed state, these firms say they're optimistic about the future. And it was the inverse story for the same report from the Kansas City Fed. Current conditions were mildly positive and stable, cost pressures eased, but future prospects were less enthusiastic there. New order levels dipped there too, but only slightly. In Canada, their October PPI came in 6% higher than year-ago levels. They may be surviving the trade war punishment from the US, but it is coming with higher costs. In Taiwan, their October export orders rose 25% from the same month a year ago. As high as that is, it just continues the stellar expansion they've reported all year. In China, they say they're going to extend their trade-in subsidy program to keep their modest consumer spending levels underpinned. And as widely anticipated, the People's Bank of China kept its key lending rates at record lows for a sixth consecutive month in November, but there is increasing talk that they will be pressured into reducing them at some stage to weigh against below-target growth. In Europe, German producer prices fell in October, down 1.8% from the same month a year ago. And in Australia, the IMF told them that they should hike their GST, abandon their tax cuts, and spend more carefully if they want to keep a fiscally sustainable economy. And Australia released its GDP by state, they call it the GSP. On a real basis for the year to June 2025, New South Wales expanded 0.9%, Victoria by 1.1%, Queensland by 2.2%, South Australia by 1% and Western Australia by 1.3% from the equivalent 23-24 year. The national rise was 1.4%. But on a per capita basis, only Queensland and Tasmania recorded gains. Nationally, it was 0.3% decline for per capita. And global freight rates for container cargoes were unchanged over the past week to sit 46% lower than year-ago levels. But the weekly change masks rising outbound China to Europe rates, while outbound China to the US rates are falling. Meanwhile, bulk cargo rates rose 11% over the past week and are now 39% higher than year-ago levels. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.11%, unchanged from yesterday, and the price of gold will start today at $4,055 an ounce, down $16 from yesterday. And American oil prices have softened at another 50 cents to be just under $59 a barrel now, with the international Brent price little changed, still just under $63.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now just on 56 US cents and unchanged from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we're up 10 basis points at 86.8 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're little changed at 48.6 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just over 60.7, a little change from yesterday, and still its lowest since July 2009. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $87,411, down another 2.4% from yesterday, and 11% below year-ago levels. In fact, it is falling as we publish. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been moderate at just on plus or minus 2.4%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.